Welcome to ProspHer Collective with Allie and Amanda.
Welcome back.
We are going to talk about capitalization rates.
Yes.
Or in simpler terms, a cap rate. So a cap rate is a percentage that is an estimate of the investor's potential return on their real estate investment.
That's a lot.
That sounds like a lot. So break it down with an example, Allie.
It really is simple once you understand. So if you went and bought a $1 million property with all cash, so no debt, and the cap rate in that market was 6%, your return would be simply 6%. If you went and did the same thing and bought a $1 million property in another market and the cap rates in that market were 5%, then your return on your money would be 5%.
That is much simpler.
Yeah.
So I guess now I'm asking, if we're in the same market and one building's selling for a 6 cap and one selling for a 5 cap, why?
Why?
What determines that property's cap rate? And there are kind of there's multiple things that do, which include location. If you're in the best location and the most sought after location in town, you're gonna have a lower cap rate.
Yeah, like if you live in Billings, Montana versus, let's say, Los Angeles, Miami, right? Some of those like bigger markets, cap rates are gonna be different.
The age of the property. If you have a newer construction, that's gonna have a lower cap rate versus a really old, rundown building that has a lot of deferred maintenance. That's gonna have a much higher cap rate.
Right.
Also the type of real estate. Is it multifamily, retail, office space, industrial? All of those classes are going to have different cap rates within different markets.
Definitely. So then you're like, well, where does a cap rate even come from? And it does kind of seem arbitrary sometimes, but I'm sure there's this fancy calculations that some people up in like Washington are
above our pay grade.
Yeah, putting together. But the easiest way for you to find out is to build relationships with your local brokers. So if you don't have relationships already, go on to Crexi, LoopNet, and figure out who is the brokers that are doing the most work in the category. So if you want to buy multifamily, then kind of see who's listing the most multifamily, and then reach out to that broker and ask them like, hey, what are the cap rates going for in our market? And if you live in a bigger market, you may need to break it down to like
specific micro areas.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think too, like those bigger firms, Coldwell Banker, NAI, those are also good ones to reach out to in your market as well.
Mm-hmm.
So let's give a real life example on how to calculate a cap rate. So the calculation is the annual net operating income, the NOI, divided by the purchase price. And that's going to equal your cap rate percentage. So let's take $1 million property for easy math that has a net operating income of $100,000. So we're going to take 100,000 divided by 1 million, and we're going to have a cap rate of 10%. It's really a very simple calculation.
Yeah.
And if you go onto LoopNet and Crexi, what Allie brought up, pull up some marketed properties in your area and calculate what the cap rate is based on the asking price and the net operating income, which is typically down in the description for the property on those listings.
Yeah, and I'd say you can also work it backwards, right? So if you know your market cap rate and then you have like the purchase price, if you divide it backwards, you will be able to see what the property is worth. So you can determine really if they're giving you a fair cap rate value. So you can go both directions with the cap rate calculation.
And great point.
Yes. So if you go and do your homework, practice with cap rates, it will become really simple for you to understand, and you'll see that things are overpriced, underpriced in your market.
And it'll also help you kind of gather further evidence on what the average cap rate is in your market. Also,
for sure. Then you can see if your broker's giving you accurate information. So If this video was helpful and you want to learn more, please go on down below and subscribe to our channel. Like this video so others see it. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.